Yeah, I think. Good evening, Professor. Just now, our one of the core team members joined. Dear participant, good evening to all. This is an webinar series to promote mental health and well-being. It is an initiative of the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai. We started in a trial basis. We found that we have received very good feedback from the participants. Then we decided to continue the webinar series to promote mental health and well-being. For that, we approached many experts. When we approached for the Madam Assumpta Madam, we consented for our request, and then today with us, we are going to present one of the important topic in mental health field, Victor Frankl's logotherapy. Based on a research experience, he is going to share his experience and knowledge with us. Now I request Mr. Krishnan to introduce the speaker to all the participants over here.
Good evening, friends. It is immense pleasure introducing Dr. Assumpta Aneas, Professor of Psychopedagogy at the University of Barcelona. Assumpta teaches about educative research in multicultural, diverse context, counseling for the professional and personal development, and assessment of learning and competencies. She's belong to the Faculty of Education in the University of Barcelona in Spain. She belongs to the Department of Methods and Research and Assessment in Education. She is head of Equity, Welfare and Inclusion area at the Institute of Research and Education at the University of Barcelona. She is a member of several organizations and networks of intercultural and counseling research. And she has got very active roles in European Educational Research Association, EERA, and Inter-University Research Association in Pedagogy. Her main interests are pedagogical answers to the needs and challenges arisen from the intercultural encounters, migration and refugee contexts. She is particularly interested in how concepts such as religious and ethnic identity intersect with the issues of social inequality, existential emptiness. Her recent projects are cultural diversity and equal opportunities in schools, which we also can look at it. Refugees education support in MENA, which is Middle East and North African countries. And she has got over 200 publications, a corpus of books, papers in journals, conferences, and open access material in Spanish, Catalan, English, and German languages. It is wonderful to have here. And the moment I asked her whether we are doing this and would you be part of it, she didn't even have a second thought to say. She said immediately, yes, I will do. And, she had agreed to participate and enlighten us. And, and she was also said, she wanted to, because the COVID-19, this lockdown period is almost like a concentration camp. So I think, probably that is what prompted her to choose this Victor Frankl's logotherapy. Thank you so very much, Assumpta. Welcome here, and please enlighten us with your knowledge. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much to the University of Madurai and the Wellbeing Center Training. Thank you for inviting me. For me, it's an honor, a pleasure, and a responsibility to share my ideas with you. I hope we can share after my presentation our ideas about how to make an opportunity to this painful and stressing situation that all the world are living. So I'm going to begin the presentation. I don't know if you see the screen with the presentation. Okay. Thank you very much. Well, my talk will talk about the possible contributions of the logotherapy that was developed by Victor Frankl in this time we are living, the times of fear, uncertainty, and confinement. Well, I the professor of the Krishnan has presented me, excuse me, has presented me. Only I'm going to show you some pictures about my university, my college, my students. I am a professor of education, and my approach is not a therapeutic approach. I have a psychopedagogic approach, an educative approach. So for me, it's very important to clarify this, because I am not psychologist, and I have a lot of respect with the people that suffer illness, mental illness. So the approach that I am going to present in this talk sure will talk about orientations that can be made both social workers, of course, therapeutics, and educational counselors. The structure of the presentation is going to present about a little of Victor Frankl, about some principles of the logotherapy, basic assumptions, because my suggestions are very simple, very basic, but it's important that all of you understand the foundations of these suggestions. And of course, I will finish with the suggestions about the sense of suffering in times of fear, uncertainty, and lockdown. And at the end, I will finish with last ideas for us, for the counselors. Who was Victor Frankl? Victor Frankl was an Austrian man. He was Jew. He was belongs to a middle class of doctors of medicine. And at the beginning of the Nazis, he lost all his family, his wife that was pregnant, his father, mother, brothers, sisters, and he spent almost all the Second War in the gardens of extermination. Well, you know, you understand. So Frankl was the founder of the logotherapy. That this theory was developed by them along some practical and studied years of development. Victor Frankl was a doctor in medicine. He also achieved doctorate in philosophy, and joining these ideas about the medicine, especially neurologists and psychiatrists, and the philosophy, he developed his theory. He has been known by all the people in the world about his very, very famous book called Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote this book while he was in the extermination camps of Auschwitz and Treblinka and others. He lived in another camps, and he applied his experiences and his learnings about the suffering, about the pain, about the death in this book. And this book is not a technical book, it's not a psychological book, but along the history, the narrations, the narratives of this book, we can understand the essence of the theory. What is the logotherapy? The logotherapy is known by the third psychoanalytic school of Vienna. This school has worked by Adolf Adler and Sigmund Freud too. And the difference between the precedent schools is the existentialist and humanist approach of Victor Frankl. Victor Frankl developed an anthropology, and he proposed that the human structure was composed, or is composed, by a biological, psychological, but also a spiritual component. This spiritual components in German is called by Geist, and one of the most important elements of this conception is that for Frankl, the Geist, the spiritual dimension, always is healthy. So no matter biological sicks or disorders psychologicals, the spiritual dimension always is okay. The basic assumptions of the logotherapy I am going to present are presented in these ideas. This concept of the body, the body, the mind, and the spirit is very important. That we also think that no matter the depression, the pathology, the state with the person is, this spiritual dimension always is okay to advance, okay to found this sense. Another element very important are the humans have freedom of will. All the persons needs and have the freedom to look for and found the will. I like very much this sentence of Victor Frankl: I am master of my freedom, but servant of my responsibility. And this means that this freedom must to be applied with responsibility. Also, one other construct of the logotherapy is that the humans have the will to the meaning. All the persons needs to know what is the meaning of the life. So this is the primary motivation to live and acting in the world. Also, the persons have the freedom to find meaning. This freedom to find meaning, that means that the meaning is found looking for with intentionality reflection. So it's very important to understand that in all circumstances, in all possibilities, the person had found the meaning, the sense of the circumstances that the people is living. And so the sense of the existence is outside the person. This is very important, but for Frankl, he didn't understand, didn't believe that the person can found this sense of life, the meaning of life inside one, in the self. He says that we only can found this sense outside the self, in the moment, in this specific time, but in the reality that is more far away than the self. So this concept of that Dasein, that is the word in German of existence. Dasein has this element of transcend the individuality, the egocentrism, and to found this when you are outside doing things, having relationship with others, learning of others, etc. And also, the last principle that I am going to present is that the individuals are unique and the meaning is unique. And that means that this meaning is related to this moment specific, this time specific, and has this sense and meaning specific. So it's not about an idea that this unique, very absolute sense of all the life. No, in each moment, the circumstance of the people, the situation of the people offers possibilities to found sense. So I like this sentence that it's important that we remember. We are not who are sometimes from the life. Why is passing this? Why this pandemic? Why I am losing this? No, we don't have to ask questions to the life. It's the life itself that is asking things to us. How I'm going to cope this situation? What I'm going to do? Who I'm going to take care is not the external situation, the external world that offers us this opportunity to find meaning to this situation. Even this situation will be very suffering and very stressful, of course. The sense of the suffering times in fear and uncertainty and lockdown, I am going to remember some ideas that Victor Frankl remembered. Contrary to the animal, the human being lacks instincts that drive what they have to do. Contrary to the people in the past, the modern persons have left the tradition that tells who have to be. Sure, in India, this element of tradition is more strong, but the idea is that it's important that to see these elements of traditions, these elements of legacy, because these elements a lot of times give us or give the people the answers about how to cope, how to do. For instance, in the case of India, you have the families, the familiar structure, the guru, the Ayurveda, the yoga, the spiritual traditions. All of them give the biological, energetical, and psychological and spiritual responses to cope and just understand and manage. But for a way to this, the idea of the other contribution of Victor Frankl is this idea to found sense, to found meaning in the situation we are living. Sure, we live fear, we are sick, we can lose a lot of things. We live in a very, very stressful situation. But the issue is what sense can to have this situation for us. For me, in a specific, because it's an individual sense. And how can I find this sense? The ideas are very simple. According to Victor Frankl, there are three possibilities to find sense in this situation. Doing, creating, living, experiencing, loving, and of course, learning. So logotherapy proposed that the meaning of life can be discovered in three distinct ways: creating, doing things like this conference, these webinars, the service too. For instance, I know in the center they do a lot of videos, a lot of resources. In a family, in a single family, in a personal situation, and there are people that can do a lot of things, prepare food to borrow to the neighborhood, to a lot of things. So other point to found this meaning of life can be by the experiential feeling, and of course to taking care. The father that take care of the children, the grandmother that take care for the grandsons, or in a contrary way, this affective behavior and feeling that can allow to the person that transcend their own individuality and found another sense of their life. And of course, with the learnings raised from the pain and the suffering. If I lost my family or some very, very belong, if I can give them goodbye, a lot of things. What can learn from this experience? What is the output, the result that I can learning that I can identify. So these are the three. It's important that understand that it's not only one person can satisfy and found this sense of the meaning in the suffering of the pandemic by the one or two, can be difference. I had told before that they are unique in the moment, in the circumstance, but the most important is understand that it's very easy. It's very easy. Looking to do, looking to love, and looking to learn. It's very easy. In this way, we can transform the suffer to make service to the others through works, compassion, and learnings. The last ideas from the counselor, that is, this meaning of life can be given. It's not possible that one person ask us, oh, I don't found my meaning of life in this situation. Can you give me, tell me what? No, this is a personal process. The professional only can accompany this process. Doing questions is a better phenomenologic process with the individual subjective experience livings of this situation, and the professional only asking about what it is your life, what do you do, what do you think, what do you feel, can accompany this process of the discovery. And this meaning of life can be discovered outside, can be invented. And the invention is an inner construction of mental, but this element of discovering is always outside the person. And of course, neither psychotherapists and counselors cannot tell the patient or the customer what is the sense of life. So this is my speech. I hope I can use to the time. And of course, now I am very welcome to some comments or questions. Thank you very much.
Oh, what a sharp presentation. Can you lead the session now?
You'll be asking, queuing the people who have raised their
Sir,
answer.
can we have the slides once again, sir, please?
Please, Sabina, take over. Thank you.
Dr. Veena? Dr. Veena, are you there? Yes, Axia?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can lead the session now.
I'm here. I am here. I will take it.
Yes, yes.
Participants, you may raise the questions. Yeah, I would like to know your questions first.
You asked me about the paper of the role of the conscience in this process.
Yes, I couldn't get it.
Yes. It's very important, this paper of the conscience, because sometimes when the person is thinking about this sense of life, of this experience, the conscience is like an inner voice that tells this is. So sometimes I'm not sure if we are doing the things well, and this is the final meaning of the life. But the conscience never lied. So it's very important. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
I think that is the deep, sense, and that's the reason there is a lot of silence also. They are actually working on.
Yes, of course.
I would like to know if anyone has a question. You can actually unmute your mic and you can actually talk about that. You need not actually raise questions also. You can also, share some views on your own meaning of life also. She will be very happy to listen.
In this moment, my meaning of course, I am thinking a lot of.
Professor, it is a space for the participant given to them. They can ask questions to you. Yeah, now Miss Lynn, you can do that. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you can go ahead. Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, doctor. You mentioned that the word logotherapy comes from the Greek word logos.
Yes.
I understand that it means words, isn't it?
Can be, but the words sometimes have different meanings. But the most important is this sense in the.
So in this context, how does the word logos really mean in the context of finding the meaning of life? In that context, what does the word logo mean?
The sense. Logo is the meaning, the sense. Can be the therapy about the meaning. Logotherapy can be understand that the psychotherapy of the meaning, or the therapy about the meaning. This is the most I think focused translation. And of course, my suggestion is that the contribution of the logotherapy can be to find the meaning of these feelings, to find the feeling of the the thoughts that we have in this moment of pain, of uncertainty. What is the meaning of this? Or will have my life meaning after this process will finish? This is the idea of this the logotherapy can help.
And you also said that it is about being in the present moments.
Yes, yes. This is
about being in the reality of now.
Yes, yes, yes. So
and we have to find our meaning from our present reality.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. The idea is that the sense of life, I don't know in India, but in the Western we sometimes understand the sense of life like, you know, the vocation, like a long-term way, and not
like a trade.
Yes. So the idea of Frankl is the present. So, for instance, if you remember the life or the experience of Victor Frankl, he had a very successful career in medicine. Then he lost all, the family, the career, and stand in a camp of extermination of the Nazis. So in this moment, what was the sense of the life for him? He perhaps thought that in the future, perhaps he wasn't necessary to live, or was afraid. Doesn't matter. The thing that he thought in this moment, what was the sense of life? And he said in this moment, my sense of life is to help others to conserve the life. So, or respect if they decided to suicide, but also with this idea that helping to the others. So Victor Frankl found the sense of life in the extermination in the camp, helping to others. This is the idea in the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Clear. Thank you.
1 minute, Saujanya. There are 5 people.
Yes, sir.
Your question will be definitely given.
It is a continuation of that question. That's why.
Okay. You just remember that, because you can't just.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Let Anita Mary to call. Dr. Anita Mary.
Hi, thank you, Krishnan. Assumpta, that was a good presentation. Thank you for the presentation. I have two thoughts when you presented that. See, one was when on that slide you mentioned about transcendence. So I was trying to relate it to the transcendence where Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where one fulfilled the needs, then they reach the transcendental stage. And in the current scenario of the COVID pandemic, like when we talk about logotherapy, and in the Indian context, especially when there's a lockdown and when most of the population is like, for example, there are millions of people who are lost their jobs, baby vergers and all that. I understand that Victor Frankl had written most of his experiences in the concentration camps, right?
Yes.
But also he was a person who was highly educated. He had a lot of resources, and then he lost the resources. So loss, and then trying to understand the loss was something that gave rise to this lot of existential questions when he was in the camp. So my thoughts are like, can a person, like for example, can a socioeconomic person be really transcending to that stage of trying to understand what is my meaning in life? Yeah.
Yes. I think that I began before with this memory of Frankl about the legacies and the traditions, and I think that perhaps in India, in this modern moment that we live, perhaps some of the people has forgotten a little these traditions and legacy that perhaps have given tools, no matters the economical level, to cope with this situation. Also in biological, like a spiritual way. So the idea, of course, Victor Frankl developed this theory of the logotherapy over a very strong foundation, academical foundation, and this is the value, the scientific value of the logotherapy, because it's not very founded in a scientific way theory. But of course, the possibility that the person found this sense is not related with the sense of meaning. Sure, will be people with very few social, economical level that has this inner sabidury, you know, this knowledge to found the sense. As well, a lot of us with doctorates, we fall in an existential empty, and for us will be very difficult to find this meaning of life. So the counselor, the therapist, these ideas of the ways that where we can find the meaning with doing things, loving and learning are very simple. And the counselor, the education, the people of the education of the therapist, of course, the poor people don't go to the therapist, but in a social worker, in the way, can, no matter the way, the place, can find this process of accompanying to think and to found. So remember that according Victor Frankl, this spiritual way always is in a very good situation. It's always is healthy, and this is a very, I don't like to say optimistic, but give us a lot of opportunities and energy to believe that a lot of people can find this meaning of life, no matter the economical or cultural level, no matter.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sorry I had a few technical problems, so I resume my work of taking up this question and answer session. Gracias, Assumpta, ma'am. Next question from Alex Sami. Alex Sami, sir, can you please go ahead with your question? Alex Sami, sir, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Okay.
Good evening. I'm very happy and enriched by your sharing of this logotherapy. My basic question is how logotherapy is different from cognitive therapies or cognitive restructuring. That's what happens in cognitive behavior therapy. We try to change the thoughts of the person. How logotherapy is different from CBT or cognitive theories?
Well, I'm not a specialist of therapies. I have said, but I think that perhaps for me the most different is that the cognitive can have the risk to find a lot of insight of the self, thinking about doing the effort about the self of us, and in the logotherapy always is the reflection of the person outside. It's not only think, of course, there is a very cognitive activity, a lot of experiential reflection is a phenomenological process. What I think, what I feel, this can be similar to the cognitive, but the most important idea for me of the logotherapy is always think outside me, not think what I need, even what I can do, what I can learn from the outside of me, of my behavior in the external life. So I think that this can be the most important difference. But sure, some of you will know the answer better than me. So I don't know if it's possible to talk, but sure, you can share. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Mala Saluja. Mala?
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for the session. My question is regarding your last slide, in which you have told that meaning can't be given, it must be discovered by the person itself. And the other thing is, no therapist or the counselor can help patient. So we know that a person can discover the happiness inside by himself, but how can, as a counselor, we can still help the person to find the answer? Can you give us more input into this?
I at the beginning I haven't understand well. I don't know if you can write or you can repeat, but I don't understand. I understand about the happiness, but at the beginning I have lost a little the question.
Actually, my question is regarding your last slide, in which you said no counselor and the therapist can help a person. This is something which can be discovered by the person himself. So can you give us some more input into this? Like,
okay. Well, I think that sure that the other therapies also allow to the professional to give the answer, but the idea is that for each person, is only the person that can feel, can see the things that are sense for them, had meaning for them. So the role of the therapist or the counselor is to help to this person, to this process, to aware what are the situations, can be doing things or taking care or learning, or how other question that can do the counselor or the professional is to ask to the person what is asking the life for you, what do you think that is demanding the life or this situation for you. So this in the logotherapy is very used the Socratical method, you know, this they use this indirect question. So it's very important that the person make arise these values, the meanings of these things, because a lot of times we know, but we don't see, you know. So this will, I think this will the idea.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Mala. Thank you, ma'am. Next question from Saujanya, ma'am. Saujanya, ma'am, can you please go ahead with your question?
Yes, definitely. Ma'am, your session is excellent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but a few doubts I have. Like you said, in logotherapy, we are always thinking about here and now.
Yes.
Yes. So our sense of meaning can also change.
Yes, of course.
Yes, depending upon the situations we are facing.
Yes.
So temporarily, my sense of meaning for today can be different from the sense of meaning I have it tomorrow.
Yes, because for instance, this night can offer a very good situation or a very bad situation, and all that you expected change. So this is the idea: is the in the moment, of course.
In the moment,
and of course, there can be sense of life in prolongate, you know, in a continuous situation. For instance, when I work with these elements of the logotherapy in professional counseling in the university, and I asked to my students, in order for perhaps some professions are related to the take care, like all professions. All professions are related to the doing things, to will to. So for of course there can be tendencies, of course, but related with this situation of confinement, of painful, is every day in each moment when we have to think. Of course, we live in the moment.
We live in. Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am. Thank you, Saujanya, ma'am. Next question from Anusha, ma'am. Anusha?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible? Yeah. Ma'am, your session was so nice. And ma'am, I had a doubt.
Anusha, unmute yourself.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay. How can we like practice this logotherapy? Do we need a person like to like look at us, like we need proper training for it, or is it like on a conceptual manner?
I don't understand well. Please, can you repeat?
Sorry, ma'am. How can we practice this? Do we need a proper trainer to get trained and then to practice this?
I don't understand the practice. Are you asking about the possibility to practice?
Yes.
Her question is how.
Okay, go ahead, Shubha.
Her question is, how can I practice logotherapy? Is that proper structured training there?
The training. Well, are you asking how to achieve the specialization to apply this? Okay. There are several institutes in Vienna, in United States that make training. There is I suppose that is the same process that other psychotherapeutic school. So there are a master period of a lot of hours, 1 or 2. I have studied 4 years, 4 years, and also there are another moment of I don't remember the word because I didn't done because I'm not therapist, but my colleagues in the course they are doing that. These are training with classes, with supervision. So of course it's an specialization. If you want to apply like a therapist approach, therapist approach, not an educational approach, is a long process, and there are several institutes where you can study. And I suppose that can be in online and a distance course, of course. But there is an accreditation, of course, to apply this methodology, because I have simplified very much, but this technique of to achieve this self-transcendence, to apply this Socratic method. If you are applying this with psychological or psychiatrical illness of tendencies to the suicide, neurosis, psychosis, is very complex, of course. So I am speaking about from a educative approach, but from a psychotherapeutic approach, of course, needs very technical tools.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next question. Shubha ma'am, you have a question. After that, Ravi sir, you can go with your question. Shubha ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Veena. It was a fantastic presentation on logotherapy. I would like to compliment you first, and then I would like to supplement with some of the facts from Indian perspective. Can I?
Yes, of course. Thank you. I will appreciate, of course.
This is actually, if you look into Victor Frankl, the period of the logotherapy has emerged. Well, before that, we have our religion, scriptures and other literature speaks about the essence of logotherapy. We have a very rich, literature, and also our religious scriptures talks about logotherapy essence in living in the present and living for. If you have been blessed with a life today, that itself is a meaning. That carries so much of meaning, that your existence itself is a blessing. That is what our religion, even all, irrespective of all the religion, especially from Buddhism point of view, Buddha talks much about the moment, living in the moment. And he talks about the mindfulness, being in the moment, living in the moment, fulfilling your, responsibility at that moment is more meaningful for life. I think it is there in India, but we don't actually call it as a logotherapy. But all our grannies and grandmas and grandpas used to say this. They talk about this. today's is very important. Live and don't talk about others. Especially people who are in the south, down south, they believe all of these practices. If someone wants something to eat in the night, they say if they have asked for or if they have wished for, better give them because we don't know about tomorrow. The uncertainty. So this all small values have been instilled in us right from our childhood. So we believe in from religiously, from our cultural way of living, we practice logotherapy without the name of logotherapy. That is our way of life. We call yoga, mindfulness is our way of life rather than as a therapy. Thank you. That I really wanted to add on to that Indian perspective. Thank you so much for your wonderful lecture.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your insights. Ravi sir, can you please go ahead with your question? Sir, unmute yourself and ask the question. Ravi sir.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Hello, audible, ma'am? Audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yes, audible. Ma'am, very good, nice presentation. I have one small question, ma'am. Ma'am, how give small example for logotherapy in COVID-19 during the lockdown? Small example.
Yes, yes. For instance, the people that has lost his father has died and is in the hospital, and the family can give goodbye and has lost and can do the ceremony and feel a lot of pain and well, and perhaps the person that has died is the mother, for instance, and it's a very big tragedy. But then we can ask, why the family have to do? What is the sense? What is the things that we have to do? Or perhaps he has gone in order we take care more of one of the others. So this is the question that we can do in the sense that, of course, in the for me it's very important to remember the vital experience of Victor Frankl. The situation of the child of extermination was terrible, was an hell. So this in the hell always were opportunities to love to others, to learn, to do things. Of course, there was other very wrong opportunities to do or to feel very bad situations, no? But in this situation today, and I'm connected with the intervention of the Dr. Suresh, that in this modern life we can think, oh, we have to live now, but it is not the superficial idea. The idea is in this moment, what I have to do. I am confined, I have this situation, what is the thing that I have to do? And then in another time, and also we have to recollect these elements that I have, like India, the tradition, the role of the father, the security, this reflection. So this is the idea. You have a lot of things that in the extra society we can. We only have the laws of we can buy, or we can go outside to take a coffee, or our traditional structure is very weak. So I think that you have more elements to cope very well the situation that us. Really, I think.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Payal. Payal, are you there? Payal's question is how logotherapy is different from holistic approach. That is what she has written. Payal, are you there?
The holistic approach, I am a transdisciplinary person. The people that know me know, they know. So I don't take care with the definition of schools, of structures. I prefer to use the technicals and the concept that use with my mind and my vision. So of course, I know in the practice that the logotherapy has an holistic approach, of course, because there are a lot of elements that can give meaning. We can find meaning doing a lot of things, and of course, if we remember the composition of the person according to Victor Frankl, with this psychological, biological, and spiritual way, there is a place with all of the components that can have a person. So also religious, of course, also religious. So of course, I think that is holistic, of course.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Next question is from Ananya Lakshmi. Ananya, can you please go ahead with your question?
Thank you, Veena ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.Assumpta, for this wonderful session. It was amazing and eye-opening. So I have this thing. Can you sum up on the techniques of logotherapy, which are de-reflection, paradoxical intention, and Socratic dialogue, please?
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
If I can resume, it's difficult for me to resume this Socratic dialogue is also to make the questions that also don't receive the unical answer, even yes or not. Even the person in the answer must explain and to develop the answer. So also usually the people that goes to the professional has questions and look and expect answer. And from the logotherapy, sure, like other approaches, the professional must to give answer, even other questions that help to the people to understand, to see, and to find the answer. His who answer. This paradoxical intention is an resource used in a therapeutical moment in the logotherapy. For instance, in a neurotic process, in a well, you know, in some of the situations that when the professional present to the person, for instance, if the person is saying, my life is hasn't the meaning of life, and I don't want to live, I want to suicide. Sometimes this paradoxical strategy present, well, go ahead, but of course these technicals, this is the reason because the training is so important, must to be applied with a lot of cure and with a lot of professionality. But this is the idea that sometimes this element of the paradoxical is founded with this element that Frankl talked about the freedom to found, the freedom to do, the freedom in the camp. Several of the friends of Victor Frankl decide to finish the life, and he neither put a big objection because he respected the freedom. So this is the idea.
Participants, kindly keep your mics on mute. Please, ma'am, go ahead. Yeah, ma'am, you can continue. Yes.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Socratic dialogue.
Yes. The Socratic dialogue is as has been I has been talking before, is this dialogue where the person with more authority, in this case the counselor, or the therapist, don't answer some questions, even make questions to the patient or the customer in order he or her found the ideas, listen this conscience, and aware by the memory of the things that they do, or the people that they care, or the things that he has learned. What are this meaning of life? This is the essence of the Socratic dialogue.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very clear.
Thank
It was
you.
an amazing session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ananya. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. That was really wonderful presentation. Gracias.
Gracias. Gracias. Gracias.
Yes.
Gracias.
And participants, thank you so much for your love and support. And if any other questions, kindly send to myWebinarFeedback@gmail.com. Please send your feedbacks as well as your queries. We definitely would like to have more and more sessions in future. And we have got a lot of positive feedbacks. Someone mentioned that Suresh sir is doing an altruistic job. Kudos to you, sir, for doing such a wonderful job, and keep looking forward for many more such wonderful sessions. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
A moment, please. I can see a question. I have seen several questions that I can answer, but my last question, if a person is suffering schizophrenia, can logotherapy be applied? Yes, yes. There are psychiatrics, medicine doctors that apply the logotherapy and the techniques. Absolutely, yes, yes. And I am going to send you my PowerPoint. The PowerPoint, I will send a longer PowerPoint than this with a little more information. And there is my email, and I will appreciate if you can ask me something. And for me, it has been a pleasure and an honor to share with you. Really is a gift. Is a gift. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful, awesome session. I would like to place a record of thanks and gratitude, because today we are blessed with the meaning of the day to listen to you. And yeah, that is very important. In spite of this lockdown, we all are connected globally. In spite of this, pandemic, we are existing within, great health. And in spite of all this disconnection all over the world and chaos and a lot of confusion, we are able to do something very positive for people. That itself shows there is a meaning in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Moreover, being a Mother's Day, no, about this existence, that is the relation. Not words, we don't have words to express our gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you, Krishman and Suresh. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Suresh sir, please give your vote of thanks.
Yes. Dear all, I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the resource person. The logotherapy is one of the difficult topic as per my understanding, my perception. But when she consented for that and then given it in a simple way, it is an amazing one. And I can see that there are more slides I can connect because I'm teaching the subject. When I see the presentation, I can see that there is a more information in a slide. I think I have to go through the content and learn from it. Thank you so much for the more input for my existing knowledge. And dear participant, as you all know, that it is an initiative to promote mental health and well-being. It is a teamwork. At the beginning, I was started, but now with me, there are many team members are with me. Mr. Krishnan, Dr. Subhasri, Dr. Veena, Dr. Chandra, Ms. Akshay Lakshmi, Ms. Ekta, Ms. Bharati. I think I have mentioned all the
Chandra, our own Chandra.
So these are the members as of now. We are looking for more volunteers for our session. And we plan to have this initiative for another 365 days. And if you come across any resource person who is good in that different topics in your area, you can recommend that person to us. We will definitely take your inputs for that. Please pass this information to your friends and family circles. It will be very useful for them. Thank you for your support. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for your very good support. Thank you. Thank you.
Assumpta, thank you very much. And when I asked, you immediately agreed, which is, it's a blessing for us. And So nothing more to say, but stay safe and we keep in touch. Thank you so very much.